Hello, my name is Laura, and with my classmates Maria del Mar Gómez, Sebastian Ochoa, Sebastian Castrillon, and Sofia Arcila, we are going to talk about Amore Pacific Group. Amore Pacific Group is a South Korean beauty and cosmetics conglomerate operating over 30 beauty personal care and health brands. It was founded in 1945 by John Do-jong that began selling camellia oil as a hair treatment in the village of Kaesong. Nowadays, it is the world's 12th largest cosmetics company, and as they say, they seek to share the legacy of Asian beauty with all of humanity. In this presentation, first of all, we are going to talk about the current strategy that AP implement regarding the industry and competitors, based on AAA Triangle and recent data from Euromonitor, Orbis, and other databases. Finally, we are going to analyze two countries, France and China. This to develop the strategy to increase the internationalization of the firm. This is based on AAA strategy framework, adaptation, aggregation, and arbitrage.
That we established for the AAA strategy were advertising for adaptation, research and development for aggregation, and labor for arbitrage. In the first triangle, as you can see, we contrast Amore Pacific versus the industry, where we can conclude that Amore Pacific invests the same as the industry in arbitrage. Also, the percent for adaptation varies only in a 0.21%, so we can say that Amore reaches the standards in research and development. And last, we can conclude that Amore has a lack of investment in advertisement versus the industry. We can say that Amore Pacific has an actual strategy based in arbitrage and adaptation. In the second triangle, the three different firms were compared. We can conclude that the firm leader worldwide is L'Oreal, investing in every single pillar. Then is Amore Pacific having a bigger participation than LG. We can conclude this is because L'Oreal has a bigger participation in the worldwide market because it has presence in more countries than the other firms. But Amore Pacific, having only presence in two countries, has a really good investment in every single pillar of the triangle, giving the firm the local power that it has in South Korea. Also, comparing the three firms, we can conclude that every single firm invests more resources in advertisement and labor that are for adaptation and arbitrage, leaving aside aggregation.
Forward, let's talk about the AAA strategy for China. Given the position that Amore Pacific has in China, which the company is within the top 10 in the market share, and the cultural similarities that China and South Korea has in the beauty sector, thanks to the shared Confucianism roots, the company should match the international strategy according to these three main components, which are adaptation, aggregation, and arbitrage. As I said before, adaptation, aggregation, and arbitrage are the AAA strategy we are studying. Let's start for adaptation. We chose two components, which are metrics and strategic alliances. Metrics, well, China is the biggest market in the world of beauty and healthcare. This means that if Amore Pacific tries to evaluate the performance based on sales, perhaps they're going to have a bias, and they have to build some new metrics in order to measure the performance of the company in this market because of the size. Second, strategic alliances. We believe that after Chinese government declared that door-to-door channels were illegal inside the country, and that was the most profitable way to distribute the products Amore Pacific had in China. We believe they have to start to build alliances with specialized stores and spas in order to gain market size and to build a solid brand image. Aggregation, we think that, well, perhaps China is the most is the best foreign country Amore Pacific can go because, well, some academics says that the world is not so globalized, therefore is more regionalized. This means that the nature stage for Amore Pacific to go abroad is China. Um, in this market, they can find a responsible standardization, seeking for economies of scale and scope, thanks of the shared beauty, um, cultural standards and stereotypes they have. So the best option for them is to use a regional hub. With this regional hub, Amore Pacific can sell relatively standardized products in China. Resources will be shared between China and Korea. They're going to be able to develop both markets within a similar line because uh, they share common beauty stereotypes, as I said before. The strategy will not be a full localization or a full standardization. It has a degree of both. They will not have to do big adaptations of the products to the local needs. So they have a low local responsiveness in this country. Moreover, we think that they should set a regional headquarters in Shanghai or Beijing in order to straighten the commitment they have within this market. And in those headquarters, they should hire Chinese labor because they know how to do business in their country. Arbitrage, which is the latest A, we think the differences are not a threat if companies analyze them and create strategies. Some companies decide to ignore them, the differences, and believe that those cross-border differences will disappear or will not become an obstacle. Now, this is a problem, but if companies understand the differences, those differences are going to become an opportunity. We chose economic arbitrage because, well, the Chinese low labor cost is an obvious difference Amore Pacific can exploit. Additionally, the Chinese market is rising, so this perhaps the purchasing power in this country will become greater. Therefore, more customers are going to be able to buy those products, Amore Pacific products. Also, more complementary industries are becoming stronger. So new suppliers or distributors might arrive to the company. Geographic arbitrage, we believe that, well, China is one of the biggest country in both population and size. Therefore, it's a huge market, as I said before. And because of this, it's a market that is probably where Amore Pacific will gain more profits. So this is all for the AAA strategy for China.
In the Pacific, the French market was the home of cosmetics and an important test of our ability to become a global company, explained one executive. Given the differences between France and South Korea and the consumer behavior in France, the strategies that Amore Pacific should follow are: in terms of consumer behavior, first we have to know that most French believe that consumption is synonymous with pleasure. Therefore, travel, restaurants, sports, culture, and entertainment products and services are quite more important to most French consumers. Made in France products are gaining importance to 79% of French consumers, who believe they are participating in supporting of the local economy and perceive domestic products as a guarantee of quality. According to the market research firm IFOP, brand loyalty depends on the type of products. For cosmetics, clothing, TV, high tech, half of the consumers will be faithful. Strategies. The first one of adaptation to variation, we will use metrics because in Europe it was accounted for 41% of revenues in beauty industry. The French market is the home of cosmetics. Thus, the size of this market is big and Amore Pacific should adjust its goal for the participation there. The revenues earned with fragrances are not enough. There must be more commitment in this market leader in beauty. The second is focus, and we will use segment focus because Amore Pacific wants to position itself in Europe as a high-class brand. In this sense, it is feasible to reduce the market segment to consumers who are highly sensitive to quality beauty products and who are willing to pay a good price for a good product. In addition to this, focusing on this segment is beneficial if Amore Pacific internationalizes to other countries in the future, since the consumption trend of these buyers has two common characteristics around the world and thereby reduce the amount of adaptation required. The third one is externalization to reduce the burden of variation. So the best choice is strategic alliances. Strategic alliances should be focused on marketing and distribution channels to access to local knowledge, benefits, and connections. Make alliances with department stores where located higher priced cosmetics. For marketing, make use of beauty magazines and agreements with celebrities or influencers to publicize cosmetics and generate more impact. This because French people have a strong sense of belonging, especially in this kind of products. Also, the average French has a high income level and is used to buy their luxury products because they believe that consumption is related with pleasure. Therefore, entering in the market with a made in Korea product will be difficult and rejected. And the last one is innovation with recombination. To stand out in the French market, we want to implement innovation strategy. With recombination, certain advantages in Amore Pacific production can be mixed with the characteristics of local consumption. We can make use of herbal medicine that is important in Asian culture and adapt it in all-in-one products for French buyers. This requires use of R&D abilities and the product should be developed in the subsidiary that Amore Pacific has in Chandres, France, to stick to made in France level, which is relevant for a French to buy the product or not.
Regarding to aggregation, we shows regional portfolio. The regional portfolio should be the most adequate strategy for AP to operate in France due to the high cultural differences of the country and South Korea, according to the cage model that we analyzed before. With the regional portfolio, AP not only produces cosmetics in Korea and sells them in Korea, but it also intends to use the factory that they have in France to satisfy the needs in France. This subsidiary should be managed by French people with the knowledge of the market. In this way, AP offers the opportunity to take decisions regarding to the local environment and adapt to it. Now talking about arbitrage, cultural arbitrage, we can identify cultural arbitrage because of the differences between South Korea and France. So we think that AP should take advantage of what in French culture is perceived as consumption. For example, for the French, consumption is synonymous with pleasure, such as travel, food, recreational activities, and among those pleasure activities is their appreciation for beauty and fragrances. For this reason, the French are willing to pay more for these types of products than the Koreans would. That's why AP, if they satisfy these needs appropriately, well, they will get more revenues in French that maybe they would in South Korea, and that's why. Now, talking about geographical arbitrage, we think that by entering the French market, AP is also entering the European Union. For this reason, achieving success in France will allow the company in the future to internationalize to other European countries that are geographically and economically close related.
Heading to the end of this presentation, let's talk about the recommendations Amore Pacific should follow. First of all, regarding to the triangles, it's important to say Amore Pacific should rise the amount of investment they do in comparison with sales because they are below the average of the industry. Also, it's important to say the company has a second position in the market. L'Oreal is the one who invests more money in research and development, advertisement, and labor. Then Amore Pacific comes, and in third place we have LG. Moving forward to the China strategy, it's important to say that a regional hub is the best option for Amore Pacific, just as I explained in the part of the AAA strategy for China. In fact, we recommend also to set a local headquarter in a big Chinese city, such as Shanghai or Beijing, in order to have more commitment with this huge and big market. When we talk about the AAA strategy for France, it's important to say that France is a very important market for Amore Pacific, no matter if they have a low market share there. Actually, they have been losing money in this market for a lot of years. However, we think a regional portfolio is very important for the company. First, because they have a high pressure for local responsiveness in this market, and second, because of that, because in this market, in the French market, consumers prefer and tend to consume French products. So, if Amore Pacific sets a subsidiary in this market, they will mitigate this consumer behavior. Amore Pacific should exploit the cultural differences that they have in this market. Perhaps in France, people are going to be might expend more money for the same products than in South Korea. In addition, operating inside France means the company is operating inside the European Union. And once you are inside a country of the European Union, it's pretty easy to expand your products and your sales through the whole European system. Therefore, it's going to be very easy for Amore Pacific to go to Spain, Italy, Germany. Well, nowadays it's going to be harder to Great Britain, but also it's an option, and so on and so forth. Here we end our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, and those were our recommendations.